Hi, everyone. How are you? How's everyone doing? Uh, my name is Tato Chemolani, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. This is Flow, and Flow is a channel that, that brave thing that you have to do, but you didn't want to do because it was so out of your comfort zone. That is what Flow is to me. It is my fourth baby. I have two natural babies, living a son and a daughter. And I have a beautiful business that I'm running, a successful business that I'm running. And now God was like, share your story. There are people that need to learn from the tools that I've equipped you with. I'm a lover of knowledge. I'm a lover of learning and development, improving yourself, growing, getting better. And this is why Flow was born. So a little bit about myself. This might take a while. So yeah, I am the oldest of three. I'm the only girl. I come from a middle class family, born here in Bloemfontein in South Africa. We live in the suburbs. My parents did what they could with what they had, and they're able to give us a great life. Uh, we got what we needed, um, and we're able to also get what we wanted here and there. Um, so growing up, you know that girl that just kicks it in class and excels. That was me. I was a straight A student. I was recognized for it. When I matriculated, I had been accepted to almost every school that I had enrolled in, every university. I wanted to go and be a medical doctor, and they all accepted me. So I had my choice of picking. And then, because of such great results that I had bursaries. But now, because I wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to go to Cape Town. I wanted to be at University of Cape Town. Uh, Cape Town did not give me a full scholarship. The place that gave me a full scholarship was ESCOM. But now they said I had to study electrical engineering in Pretoria, Gauteng. And I was like, no, I'm going to the Western Cape by the beach. I've always seen myself in Cape Town. I've always wanted to be a doctor. And at the 11th hour, school starts in January, in December, the year before. I'm called in for a meeting with the manager of HR at ESCOM, and she's like, girl, here's your contract, sign. I'm with my mother. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys changed the policies. You guys are going to give me a bursary for studying medicine. And she's like, no, no, we've already secured your place in Pretoria. We just need you to sign so that everything can be processed. That blew my mind, and not in a good way. And my parents never sat me down to say, you are doing this. They never even hinted at the fact. My father was actually even confused because he was like, medicine, engineering, like they are both good paying jobs. And, excuse me. And so the decision was mine. And I've never felt so pressured. And I think that was one of the major moments in my life that I felt alone. I would have appreciated somebody saying, what do you want to do? Irrespective of the impact it's going to be on the family, do what you want to do. And it's almost, especially for firstborns, I don't know who can relate. I don't know who can relate with my story. When you're a firstborn, you are thrust into this position of being the deputy parent. It is not, it's not said, there's no contract that you sign, but it's an insinuated role, you should do better, you should know better, you should take more responsibility, be wiser. Yet you're another person, you are a person who's going through your own growth of life, experiencing your own things, evolving, transitioning, and it's hard. So I did what I felt was the more responsible thing to do, which was take the ESCOM bursary. I'm in Pretoria. I'm attending these classes and I'm hating every single moment of it. I passed my first year, going to my second year. My roommate is doing medicine. I'm looking at her and I'm like, God, this is a sick joke. Mind you, at that time, I'm not even having a relationship with God. But I'm thinking to myself, this is sick. This is a sick setup. How can I have a roommate who's also studying medicine? One day she walks in. And I remember it. Stembile walked into my room, in our room. And she had a bag of bones. She had a bag of bones. And yeah, it was towards supper time. And I'm like, and when she's focused, we what we would do is we would fetch food for each other, And I take a card, I go down to the cafeteria, get the stuff. When I come back, she had those bones laid on the floor of our room. And I remember thinking, what the? I remember when I was applying for medical school, they asked us to order a skeleton. And I remember the skeleton that UOS and the skeleton that UCT was it was a plastic one. It was, how you go to the doctor's surgeries and there's that skeleton hanging there. That's the skeleton that I envisioned. I knew skeletons were part of the whole thing. You're studying medicine, of course. You're going to study the body and all its components. So what threw me off was that these were real human bones in the. I could not. I could not. And I remember for the first time, the thing that I have been grieving the whole of last year, the majority of this year, that year, of having Stembile as my roommate. For the first time, yeah, no, I was good. Like, I understand. I was not gonna survive medical school. I was not gonna survive. And then she just needed to tell me all the stuff that they were doing in anatomy class and how they call them cadavers, which are corpse of people that are unclaimed or corpse of people that have been donated for medical research. And they were cutting these people up. And in my mind, medicine was the after all that. The lady with the medical coat on with the stethoscope, and there you are, no, you're sick. That for me was medicine. I did not consider all of this that leads up to you actually having a DR in front of your name. So she shut down the soppiness that I was stuck in for all this time. Real quick. She shut that down hard. And she let me know, would you survive this? And I sat there going, oh, no. The anatomy, the cutting up of people, I was like, no, 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 no. I understand. I get it. I want to help people. I thought medicine would be the way. So now I go to my classes, still hating it. This was not what I wanted to do. Now I really don't know what I wanted to do. But because I'm a learner, I'm passing. So that sucks. Fast forward, meet this great guy. It's always about the guy. Meet this great guy. We click, only to meet him again when I'm on holiday here in Bloemfontein. And now we really click. We really, really click. And we kept clicking. And this guy, have you met a beautiful person, like aesthetically beautiful? Like everything is just the right thing at the right place. This was him. He was a beautiful man. He was a beautiful guy. Next thing I know, I go to the doctor, not feeling well. And the doctor is like, no, my darling, you're pregnant. I'm 20. Well, doc, what did you say? No, you're pregnant, Tato. Me? No. I did what needs to be done. I drank the contraceptives and did the other stuff. No, you are pregnant. Doctor. Hey, doctor. Doctor. Listen, doctor, I've been going on my periods. I don't have morning sickness. No, but apart from all of that, I drank the contraceptives. What do you mean I am pregnant? Who understands, guys, when life just, it just throws that thing that just throws you off? And that was sure. That was whew. Oh, that was hard. If I thought accepting medicine was not doing medicine was hard. No. Finding out that I'm pregnant at 20 was hard. And the first thing that I thought of doing, which I did, was to let him know. As soon as I let him know, he was shocked himself. But we did. And I'm like, I know. And he's the one that bought it. And then eventually he's like, okay, no. And he shows signs of happiness and does all this stuff. And in my head, because I'm a processor, I'm thinking, okay, now you're gonna marry me now. Like, you understand, I'm not having a child outside of wedlock. I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. There was a standard of living. There is an expectancy of life, how it should go. It's just the way it is. Going on, he tells me, I tell him, my culture, you have to come to my parents. You have to acknowledge that this is what you did to me. As a black person, you did this to me. You came and you sowed your seed in ground that does not belong to you, So you have to come and do that process. His response, when you hear what is not being said, when silence talks, this guy spoke in silence, and I was able to understand clearly what he was saying. Mind you, I am now pregnant. Not in the beginning of pregnancy, because from what my doctor revealed, I was actually even far gone. It's just that it was not showing. It was not showing. I was still gymming. I was still doing all. I was very active. It was not showing. I was not feeling it. There's no time to waste. When I'm telling you, okay, we need to do this and this and this, it's not a case of time is still available. No, I'm past the 4 month stage. We need to get this sorted now. And he is talking in silence. That, sure, that scared me to my core. I could hear everything now. I could hear the aunties. I could hear my parents. I could hear the church. I had to sit and think, Tato, what are we going to do now? Girl, what is your life plan now? I'm a planner. Like I said, it was medical school. It was everybody planned something. I am a planner, and I have a plan of plan B, plan C up to Z. I am when I want something, I stick to it. If it doesn't go my way, I'm able to bounce back from it. That's just me. And I was shook. I can't tell my mother. I definitely can't tell my father. So I do the next best thing and I just keep quiet. I went into a denial that was retarded looking back. You are pregnant, it's going to show. I kept looking at the calendar with such intensity as if me looking at it was just turning back time, you know? And to make matters worse, ever since I found out I was pregnant, now all of a sudden, certain things physically now began to change. What am I going to do? I'm at school. Now I'm going to have to come back home and be at the school. How am I going to word that? I started explaining, lying, that the school here is more technical. I'm struggling that side. So I was able to find a place here at the school. My mom and I went to look for space. Because of my marks, they took me. Now I'm attending school here in Bloemfontein, no longer in Pretoria. What are you gonna do? The lovely thing that they did, because of the stuff that I had already learned there, because of the years that I had already spent there, they credited. So I literally just had 1 year. How are you gonna do the year? The doctor, my gynecologist, says that my son is gonna be born in September. Roughly right now it's about May, June. So I'm counting down the months. Okay. This semester is fine. I'll still be going to school. Next semester is going to be a bit challenging. What am I going to do when the child is born? I've already understood in my mind, in my heart, that I can't really fully rely on the father because he's busy processing. So I can't really rely on the father. So I have to come up with a plan. What must I do? My mother's working, my father's working, there's nobody to help us now. What am I going to do? There's no Zoom, there's no long distance learning. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Lo and behold, when we return from this first semester's holiday, when the second semester starts, I get a letter from the school and they have credited me for the good marks. They have given me 25,000 rand. They have given me a bursary for whatever because of the marks. I was eligible, so they have already done it. So technically, I just have to come and sign the contract. I go and sign the contract. When I sign the contract, there is an overflow. Like, because of the cost of my fees, which have been covered because of the good marks, the bursary that I'm getting, minus these little fees, there's a excess left. In total, I had over 40,000 rand. And I'm sitting there going, phew, okay. So I've got 40 grand. I can look after my son. I can get a nanny. I will show my parents that I am responsible. I can get a nanny to look after my son when I go to school, when I come back, then I will look. You understand? So that one is sorted. I have made peace with the fact that I'm still holding out hope that the father will show up. Father, guys, who has been there where you have tried to come up with strategy and plan after plan after plan after plan, and life is like showing you flames? Who understands what I'm trying to say? So, excuse me. My son is born. My parents have found out. My father is not speaking to me. My mother is being as supportive as she can be under the circumstance. The only excited person, honestly speaking, was my younger brother, the one after me. He was the one, let me feel, is he kicking? Let me do this. The rest, yo, guys. And at that time, I am sitting in a cloud of shame. I am sitting in a cloud of shame. I am sitting in a cloud of guilt. I could not believe why this had happened to me. I had identified myself as this failure, this loser, this irresponsible, the only girl in my father's house. The one that had been such a great achiever is the one that is embarrassing this family. Child without marriage. At school, when you're supposed to be studying and bettering your life. You have opportunities of bursaries and all of that, and you are busy messing around with boys. Kanako is just one guy. So my identity is shook. And I'm sitting here still holding out hope that brother man will do the right thing. So on the day of my birthday, I turned 21 that year. When I turned 21, my parents are singing happy birthday to me, and my stomach is huge. Again, one of the most low times of my life. Looking back now, I can laugh, but back then I was like, world, open up and put me in. And the killing part was when they gifted me and they presented their present, and it was a Bible. I was like, yo, slap. This is a slap. This is what you call a beat down. This is yo, guys. And then they gave me a Bible. And I did not hear what they said. I was looking at this Bible, my belly And all I felt was condemnation. I am judged and then some. This is judgment to the highest degree. And the following week, now my son decides to show up. Not September. At that time, I'm writing exams. But because of the mercy of God, he had, I had, I had a good relationship with the lecturers. I had already completed ahead of time my practicals because I was not sure, according to the schedule, whether or not I would make it into September, I just wanted to be prepared. So my schedule was for practicals was done. So all I did was just call them and let them know, hey, listen, he came ahead of time. And they were like, no, it's fine. When you come back, you will write your exams. Okay. So that was good. That was sorted. The day of delivery, I'm in the hospital. My contractions of my son lasted an entire week, Monday to Saturday. The first time I felt those pains, I'm like, okay, I know they say it's painful, but this is on another level. And this is Monday. We get to the hospital. The hospital said, no, you're still far. I'm thinking that afternoon, the afternoon turns to Tuesday, Friday. My son is like, no, I need you to feel this. An entire week of pain. An entire week of, guys, endurance. On Saturday, I get to the hospital. They not rush. I'm put into surgery. As I am busy or about to push, my mother gets a call. I'm with my mother. My mother gets a call. I've been trying to call the dad. The dad's not picking up. It's okay. This thing happened. I have made peace. My mother gets a call, and her best friend's husband has just passed away. Just passed away. And she looks at me, perplexed as to what must she do. Does she go or does she stay? And again, that shook me. That shook me. I did not comprehend that was a shaking at that time because I just needed this child out of me. But looking back, I understand, oh, that was a major moment. So she goes, I'm alone there. As I am again about to push, in walks my aunt. My aunt has been trying to have a baby. She is married. And I'm like, yo! Oh, world, open up! Open up now! Now! Open up now! And I just felt that pain in my heart as if we should be swapping roles, You are the one that's supposed to be here. Guys, I'm taking my time in telling you the story because there is a lot of stuff that will identify with some of you. And some people have a lot to say. They've experienced a lot. And the reason why you've experienced a lot is because you have a lot to offer. My story is but nothing. There are people that I've heard talk massive things. Some people's stories are excruciating. They've endured since childhood. I'm talking about a season. I'm talking about 10 years. This happened in my 20s, from my 20s till my 30s. This is a whole lesson. This is the story of my life. Yet you have people from as young as 5, 3 until now. So I'm taking my time so that you can see yourself somewhere in my story. And hopefully, as we go on with the teachings and the tools and the development and the growth, and as you continue to tune in, you will get to understand what I did to be where I am now. And I'm living a life that is the complete opposite of how I used to feel, what I went through, all of that right now. Every time I break, I have to kind of remember, because I've even forgotten the pain. I've even forgotten. And that is what happens when you move on to this side, which is what I'm going to be teaching you about. I want you to be a part of this channel. I want you to grow. I want you to find your bright day, your greener side. I want you to be as prosperous and as abundant. I want you to excel. I want you to flow into who you were meant to be. And let that outpour. Let that out. Whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, you're supposed to give birth. You're supposed to create. What is that creation that has been longing and hanging to outflow out of you? So keep listening. Lesedi, my son, is born. My mother has returned. And he waited for her. He waited. He was like, nah, pause. She's not here. My grandmama is not here. He waited for her. So by the time she comes back, now he's ready to make an entrance. And he's born later that evening. The father comes through. When he comes, he picks up my son. He has a look. He's happy. He says, oh, well done and all of that. And mind you, this was never how I envisioned bringing life into the world. I envisioned it with my husband. I envisioned it. You know how the movies does it? I envisioned it that way. That is not what happened. But it's okay. He picks him up. He puts him down. He asks, what's the surname? I explain again. I told you, write the letter. You never wrote the letter. Side note, I wrote the letter. I wrote a letter addressing it to my parents using my left hand because I figured they won't see the handwriting. I just need it. And I remember my mother looking at this letter, looking at me, and she's like, who wrote this? And I was like, he did. I wrote the letter. And we never spoke. She was like, okay. He did. And I understood her, okay. Like, okay. I'm going to put this in the Bible. And I'm going to show it to him when he comes. Left it. He walks in. We're at the hospital. He walks in. He picks up my son. He says a whole lot about the surname. I feel as if that was just an excuse for him to do everything else that he did afterwards, you know? So as he exited, I knew that was the last time I'm seeing him. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. You know when you know, you know. You know. You can call it female intuition. You can call it whatever. No, you know, you know. And the nurse walks in. Please excuse me. The nurse walks in, she draws the curtains around me. And she draws the curtains around me because my next door neighbor, her husband is there. There's flowers, there is teddy bears, there are balloons in her section. And she draws the curtains in, and then she looks at me and she's like, cry. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, what? She's like, cry. Let it out now. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. She's like, cry. I'm going to take your son. I'm going to put your son in the nursery. I'm going to allow you to take this time to cry. I'm coming. She took my son out. I cried. For the first time in my life, I felt somebody heard me or saw me, and me, not what I did, me, what I was going through. They were there. Not because I asked, or they were there because they see me. They see something else. They see. I don't have to call. I don't have to ask. I don't have to beg. And you are giving me permission to fall. That's what that lady was doing. Darling, fall. It's okay to fall. No, you don't have this. Fall. Fall apart. It's okay to fall apart. And I fell apart. I fell apart. No matter how brief it was, I fell apart. And by the time she came back with medicine. She came back with an injection. And she's like, this is going to be on your mind the whole night. You're not going to be able to sleep. You just gave birth. You need to sleep. Your body needs that because you're producing milk. You need that. So I'm just going to give you this. It is safe to breastfeed your son, but you need to sleep. You cried, right? I'm like, yes, I did. I'm going to sit here with you until you fall asleep. She gave me the injection. She sat there with me. And as she sat there with me, this lady was ministering to me and telling me I'm going to be fine. She started telling me how my son was going to be fine. She started preparing me mentally about how, yes, everybody will judge, people will talk, but despite that, I'm gonna be fine. Whew. In the moment, I really was not paying attention. I could not believe what had just happened. I was not even afforded the time throughout this entire experience to even enjoy my pregnancy or to celebrate the fact that, oh my God, no, I was on, what's the plan? How are we mitigating this risk factor? Yeah? How are you going to your life? I was on that mode. Take responsibility for your actions, Miguel. What are you doing now? What's the plan, Tato? That's where I was. And I have been on that mode for a long time. It is not just because of my son. It was even prior to that. But that will take this whole introduction into a lengthy video. Fast forward. He is born. We are home. I have managed to find a nanny through the help of my mother. Great woman. Beautiful lady with a beautiful spirit who loved my son. They are born nurturers. I know people assume just because you're a woman, you're a nurturer. No, 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 no. They are born. These people were made to be mothers. Everyone is made to be a creator, but not everyone can mother. Or rather, not everyone can mother in the way that society has had. Oh, come here, my darling. No, no, I'm not that type of mother. I'm not that type of mother. If I see you, your child, hitting my son, hitting my daughter, that's why they avoid telling me, because they know I'm that one. Hello, Nana. No, don't do that. I told you once. I'm going to tell you second time. Third time. I'm very protective. I'm very protective. And yeah, okay. Before I get sidetracked. So that worked out well. The money from the bursary was able to sustain me, because all I'm doing is buying pampers, nappies, and formula, because now I'm at school. So I'm not producing because of also the trauma and the shock that happened. My milk production has literally just dried up. So I'm buying formula, I'm buying all of this, and my son is fine. I see him every day. I'm providing for him. But there are still residual effects of trauma. There are residual effects of pain. There are residual effects of anything that shakes you. When an earthquake happens, yes, impact is immediate, but the residual effects, the cracks, the this, the that, the that, you will only see them a little bit later. So we are done with studying. Now I have to go and get practicals, do my practical training. I get practical training. I'm gonna have to be away from my son. So that beautiful lady is now living with living with my parents. I make it a point that I'm home almost every weekend. But where I was also looking for, how do I get him here? How do I get them this side? So at that time, my mind was all about, you need to prove your independence. You need to work on regaining their trust. You need to work on proving yourself that you're still the same good girl. You need to, 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 that identity of you need to, you need to, you need to. That's where my mind was. And my identity was so closely linked with achiever. My then identity was super close with achiever. So when an achiever fails, it hits your core. It hits your core, your identity. When it's tied to achieving, that shakes your core. It upsets your entire ecosystem. Your entire framework is shaken and dismantled. So I needed to get that back. I needed to achieve. So I was going for the big house. I was going to get a good paying job that was going to give me the suburban life with the big car. Whatever my father had, I was going to outdo him. That is my mind frame that I was in back then. I'm done with training. When I'm done with training, the firm that we're training with had said that it was going to offer us permanent employment. On the day of our contract signing, the firm that had offered me scholarship when I was in at tertiary, they came. I don't know how they got the numbers. Let's start there. During the session of me signing my contract, the team that we had, a team of students that we had trained together, all of them, we were all scheduled a different time to come and sign for the people that were picked. Mine was at 2 o'clock. I went there. I'm busy reading through my contract. There were messages going in. People are busy exchanging how happy they are. They signed at 9. They signed at 11:30. They signed at this. Oh my God. This one is being positioned in that place. This one is being positioned in that town. This one, hey, you understand? It was wonderful until it got here. I'm sitting, I'm reading my contract, I'm busy initialing the pages. I get to the last page where I need to sign now. As soon as I'm about to put that pen to that paper and sign, phone call. It's the lady from HR from that other company, the one that gave me the bursary. They had been silent for such a while. Almost 2 years of silence from those people. I had gone to them asking for training. Is there anything that we could work out? They said, no, you're going to have to find your own training. You need training in order for you to receive your degree when you're at a technical college. A technical college or a technical university, you need training. So I needed to finish the training. I needed to get training. So they're like, no, that's your own baby. I got my baby worked out. I found training. And these people are like, we are hiring you. I'm not ignorant of the fact that I would have to pay back the people that helped me. I was not oblivious to that fact. But she's calling and she's talking to the manager, the HR manager, and the HR manager with the HR consultant sitting next to me. She tells us that I'm going to have to put you on speaker so that you can speak to Tato yourself. She needs to hear this. And she puts that other lady on speaker. And that lady's like, no, what are you doing? You can't sign a contract with them. There is employment this side waiting for you. I know that firm. I know them. I know how much they pay. That is not part of my plan. I will pay back whatever it is that you have done. And I'm busy explaining this to that lady. And she's like, no, I'm busy making my case of, but I have found my own training. I came to you people, you said you couldn't help me. I even know that I can pay you guys back because that was also part of the conversation that we had back then when I asked, should I find my own training? Should I find my own training and then they offer me a job? Can there be arrangements for me to pay you back? And you said yes. And here is this devil calling, telling this lady of this beautiful firm that no, you can't employ her. And as by the time I come to, the HR manager had pulled away the contract. Because like I said, I had already initialed every page. It was just literally a signature waiting. I got up after having pleaded with them that I'm coming. Please don't give it to anyone. And they made it very clear that you're entry level employment. So we would never fight or what's this thing? Where companies headhunt. We don't headhunt entry level employees. And we don't do this. This is too much mess for us. We don't even do this. You understand? And given the fact that our training group, the people that were in our training group, not all of them got the chance to be selected. So this was another way of saying, we'll give it to the next person. I walked to my father's car, which I had driven to this interview / signing of contracts, shaking. You know, when your body is just, yeah, like let it take over. This shock is just vibrating through every fiber of your being. I get in the car, call my father. I tell him, your friend has just ruined my life. She said this and this and this and this. My father knew this lady. My father went to church with this lady. She ruined my life. She has officially called these people and told them. And right now, in the middle of me signing my contract, they told me that I can't come back. My father's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm just outside the building. He's like, meet me at my office. Outside the building of his office. I go there. When I get there, he's not there. Next thing I'm thinking is that lady. I'm going to that lady. By the time I get there, my father is there and he's letting her have it. And because I heard all his emotions, there was no need for me to come in. And I've always been weary of the fact of showing your enemies that they got to you. You know that person that really doesn't, you didn't even know that you guys had a problem until they made you aware that you are their problem. Those type of people, no. You never show. That has always been a rule of mine. It has been a rule of my mother. She passed it down to me. You cry at home. You cry in the car. You cry anyway, away from them getting the satisfaction that they got to you. No. You fall apart somewhere else, not in front of them. Do you understand? So that was another earthquake moment. And I'm now employed. And I know I should be happy. I should be happy I had employment. I should be happy. The statistics in South Africa are out of this world. The statistics in the world, people are going hungry. Tata, you should be happy. Why are you complaining? No, I'm relaying the story of my life. And at that time, what I was feeling, what I was going through, given the plan that I had for and the vision that I had for my life and the mindset that I was under, this place was not. No, it was no. I'm not belittling anyone that was working there. That is what they wanted for their life. I had an opportunity. I was signing my opportunity. And here comes this tornado of a woman to take my opportunity away. That's what I need you to understand in here. And on top of that, you are taking an opportunity and you are offering crumbs and you are saying, but still. The pay of this place compared to where I was supposed to be, no. No, I could, no. And again, I say, hear what I'm trying to relay about my story. Have you ever been in a position where your standard of something is way below what somebody else thinks of you? That is how I felt in the moment. So your standard of living is here, or your standard of something is here, or how you see yourself is here. And here comes this thing saying, but still. And I know that God gave us a mind and a heart of being grateful for everything, which is true, and we are supposed to. But He also gave us the same heart and the same mind of wanting better. And He also promised that He will give us the desires of our heart. Must you be grateful? Yes. In that moment, was I grateful? No. In that moment, all I saw was hell. I had studied this discipline, this engineering that I didn't want to study, but eventually I was like, okay, I'll make peace with it. And then I carved my own way, my own thing, my own connections within this firm that I found training for myself. And here you come and you say, but still. Are you kidding me? I sat in that office like this. I was under challenged. I was uninspired. The stuff that we did there had absolutely nothing to do with what I had studied. I found my time being wasted and then some. I was, stuck in a rut. And then on top of that, getting paid peanuts. And I am sitting, especially after having seen the contract that I was supposed to get, that I had gotten, correction. I could not adjust to that one. I tried to look at everything from a different point of view. I could not. I I hated when people say you should be grateful in bondage because at least you are not starving. I've always had an issue with that. At least you're not starving. Master feeds you every day or whenever he feels like it. He lets you to go out whenever he feels like it. I hate it when people want you to settle to the things that they've settled for, to see the world through their eyes, yet they're unable to see it through yours. It's hypocrisy. And that is evident that you don't see me, yet I'm supposed to always see you. I have an issue with that. I've had an issue with that. Right now, I'm good. Right now, I'm good. I told you. We're on this side. We flow this side. This side is the side of flowing, not the uphill. Uphill, no. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. So while I was on the other firm, this firm, while I was training, I met this man. There's a word in the spiritual world that is called karmic. Karmic, you're karmic. You meet and there's like boom, sudden fire-filled attraction. This is not the same as with the father of my son. It was there, but this one, Khania, that whole slow motion in the movie. No, this was not slow motion in the movie. This one was. This one was something else. It was not slow motion in the movie. There was no peace and calm about that. No. There was just a pulling. If that man told me to strip down, I would have. If that man told me to jump off a bill, I would have. There is a magnetic pull towards a comic. You lose your senses. The slow motion is more in a loving way and you're pursuing and all of that. It's not a pull. Do you understand? I hope you understand the difference. In the movies, when they do the whole slow motion Juliet and Romeo and Juliet type of scene, no, Romeo still wants, he's still pursuing. No, I was not pursuing. I was being pulled. I was being pulled hard to almost like puppy love. It's almost like puppy love. Puppy love is an irrational, lose your mind type of love. This man did that for me. All the red flags, you just drive past the red flags. I remember one of his colleagues, both colleagues, when we were doing our training and we had to go to sites and go and do maintenance work on different sites there. One of his colleagues was like, Wana Skolo. Wana Skolo means school child. Because they are the employed ones, we are the training ones. And they're talking to each other, but they're talking to each other about me. And you know when people are talking about you and you're right there, and they are trying to send you a message. They're talking about you. The message is in the talk. You are right there. And they're talking to each other, and it's like, hey, um, when a school child is running. She should be walking, but she's running. And I know what they were talking about. They were talking about the relationship between me and their colleague. We tried to keep it on the DL, but word got out. They're talking about that. And I tried my best not to be trained by him. We were not in a relationship while I was training. And even when I was trained in his department, I was not trained by him. Yeah. So it was a long conversation about how I'm running the school child, and they're busy making metaphors about how a baby crawls first before they start running. But not me. No, I came out of the womb just running. I ran into his arms, and I don't even know him, and all of this. And like I said, karmic love is a pull. You shoot past all the red flags. That was a red flag. These people know him. These people work with him. And I'm like, he lets me see his world. I meet his friends. I meet everyone. I have never been a person of, and I still am not a materialistic person. So I will never sit and judge a person by their upbringing. I am a lover of self-made people. I am a lover of a person who is able to like switch, you know, and not switch for the sake of switching sake, but switch for the sake of growth and development. I became a better person while I was switching. Hence, we have this channel now. Um, I need to practice what I preach, you know? Preach what I practice. I need to preach what I practice. Yeah. Oh, I was infatuated with this man. I was infatuated with this man. It took us a while, and eventually he proposed. But he proposed after I had fallen pregnant. And he came from a divorce. He had children. I had a son. This was not what I at all had envisioned for Tato at all, ever. But like I said, it's getting hot in here. I was infatuated. And my mentality at that time was, we are going to fix all of you. Everything that has happened in your past, we are going to fix all of you. You are going to achieve something. You're going to win at something. You were supposed to be winning a career by now, and you're not. So you're going to win at your personal life. You're going to win. Who has ever been in a position where anything, they just want one win? Everything, it doesn't matter what it is. Can we just have one win? Can I just succeed in something? Can I have something to show that yes, I did that, and yes, look, it worked. Look, it's still working. And the danger with being in that type of mentality is that mentality keeps telling you that whatever you are needing is outside, and it keeps you from actually taking recollection of what you already do have. It's a mentality that is undercover ungrateful. I had a son at this point. I had that to show for myself. He was a beautiful boy. He is a beautiful boy. He was a healthy, beautiful boy. But the plan, that original plan that I had when I was still uh, wanting to do medicine, that plan never changed. And I was way off that plan. And I needed to achieve every single thing until I got to at least something on that plan. That's where the danger, that's where the problem came in. So this man, now let's recollect. Uh, I'm not studying medicine. I've had a baby outside of wedlock. The father is finding himself somewhere. Um, I'm the only active parent in my child's life. Um, the career of the firm that I thought I was going to be working at, that the whole family was like, yeah, our daughter is working here. She's training there. At church, you would have people identify me with that firm. Oh, you're that one that works at. Oh, no, your daddy told me about. So that did not happen. Now I'm pregnant. Second child by a different person. He's gonna marry me. So when he proposed, I said yes. And during the proposal, or just after, while it was happening, I loved that man. But I loved that man from the state that I was in. I was in a broken state. I was in an abandoned state. I was in a confused state. I was in the I need to achieve state. So from that state, I loved him from what I had in that state. From my point of view, from that state. What I needed to do during that state was to get married. I was going to clean up my name. How many women here, how many people here will confess the truth that some marriages that we found ourselves in, we knew this was not the one. I knew he was not my husband. I knew. I was more driven by the fact that I needed to clean up my reputation, that I needed to bow up my life. I needed to cover this mess that was my life. For God's sake, I had 2 children by 2 different guys. That was not my identity. So if the father of my child, whichever one wants to marry, I'll say yes. I had envisioned it would have been the first one. He was finding himself. He did. So yes. Red flags and all, yes. We are doing it. Yeah, no, it's okay. How many women, especially women, the assumption is every woman wants to get married. It may be true. But for the ones that don't, the ones that society pressurizes into getting married because the Bible says so and because are you okay not to? You don't want that. You're gonna grow old. You would have moved on. And then there's this subtle pressure of you having to settle down at that time when you had your own dreams and aspirations. At that time, you have to now, dum, dum, da, dum. For me,